Yes, I saw my cover being Fawumba, Cyrus TV, Apam TV, Kaseɛbɔ, so Ebre aso say a year and sem a chegu ewo a Ghana memo and sem no your bonnet of fan emma now once so unya emu entremu. Erontino ye da oba diana say and then so or they at Cheyenne. Ye dana si ye pa and then no aqua ye 29th May a year 2025 for dear young fa asida PSC pa. Enko enfamano erotino ye bebo modia ne ahwe ensema ye betwa egu ewo ye kase ne so dia emegunu a ewo ahyiaman ate ono ho egu mu se wo mo ebabo mu ebabebo modia ade eye advise youth ne se de be ye on betwe mo ho afri enubone ho
Mami Gertrude Arabato no ensen semna kwa kopiemu ewo court bad time ensem no ye bedomo suko ede amamu
sa enso so eye honorable Kofi ono so ade ensembi ababetuja ne sema waka nyina ne se obehwe amagalamse no yetu ase e Ghana mayimu
GSSS so akasa ede afa inema hudo bebrenoa eho wo kiremu ankofo bi wo ademudie efa wonsase yi papapa ene sunu mu no ebebomu nkiremu de amamo
Ghana mampani ede betu dwa se obebomode no de ne esifem se ne be ya private SS no wabomode ede free SHS ashim se ne be ya eno so ebetimi aboa Ghana
Anes nkabo mukuo so abomodin din sembi atu eja na wochemu so woni aban no kontiase apam na sa aban no anya obeti tua e de akere no
yana wase na yemfase da PSA ma so abribia no otena se ehwe Nsroma Kaseɛbɔ ewo Apam TV so na kai wo se Apam Global Outreach asafo o madama enti na abribia yetimi ebetena efidikase no so ene no wo a utimi bepie mu ewo Apam fie no he uye nhira pa me ye nhira enti magima di se nen so wo a wo baaye no wonso ubeye nhira wo no fie ene wasefo enyina mesra onyankopon ya adoma the next week and so sorry ewo ho bomodia na etutu anamo efa be kan yensa ewa Apam fie na nyame he benam ne nkoa so ama wonso wayu ho afri abusua kontonkyire mu mesa so akai wo se nyame adoma Sunday sorry ewo ho mesrew first and second service first service no esha CS7 na agedi akwakogu 9 na 9 o'clock no so no 9:30 the second service no ahihye so enye fedi agro kra enti mesrew bia wo hweme afri bia bomodia na ebebe kan ho ewa Apam fie se ne ebe ya yebetimi ede ye haw ne abebre se nyina akọ no asaforade na nim se ne obetimi asua yen ebia na also pesa wo join ne prayer line na eni die mu a kwanya no ewo ho de hia ne se obefrem penifo ewo 0249669993 na o machrew kwanya be faso a obetimi a join ne prayer line no edi ameje so ka chire nua na ya sikapa mene
na ama Fordjour
ye ntwa ye homrasima ye ba ye beto aso
na yembora ensem no ankasa enchemu Supreme Court meche court bad time ono abomodian kwa setena na setena na wokoye do ni nyina no efa Ghana Mampany's Excellency Ora John Dramani Mahama senia weyi eyema mi Gertrude Esaba Araba tokunu etu ekunwa sempempren onjina ho kopem se obeye nhwehwemu ewie etwa fata se wodi debrane ma no obesanso ede amano ensem yi banbontene no anse ma mi Gertrude etrim anito bomoden ede ensem no kodan Supreme Court se wonye nhwehwemu ewasa ensabdo ehu na court call eye asetena no Deputy Attorney General Dr. Srem Sai ena afi Mami Gertrude onso kopie mu ewo ho afi lawyer eye Godfred Dame eni mpenifo ahudo bebrenu a ene kopie mu ewa asem dibia no ase na nipa hotne edwemu edi asem no ene Justice Bafo Boni ono ene ode nsem etu edwa okire mu se ensem Mami Gertrude ede bedan no no ahodin bia enim
we got really close in the theme of what we've been witnessing, but yeah, I think that we'll move on. The law of battles that we can fight, and reason that the process is flawed, no doubt. I mean, heavily flawed, leading with all kinds of conditions and violations. And I'm quite surprised that the Supreme Court will be more or less acceding to the perpetration of such violations against the high judicial official. It's not about justice token, as I keep saying. It's not about justice token at all. the issues are far-reaching. It actually impinge on matters which affect the independence of Ghana's judiciary, the security of tenure of judges and all. But if the Supreme Court, for whatever reason, that don't seem to take that view, well, so great. I think that in future, the whole nation will get to know the consequences of this. I'm not here to disclose to you my line of action or plans. Clearly, all we can say is that this is a procedure that should be deplored. It cannot be a situation where the Chief Justice cannot face an inquiry set up under Article 146 in the Constitution to determine some inquiries against some petitions against and she's not had notice of the specific charges in respect of which the Crown Fashion case has been made, basis for such charges, and reasons why she's supposed to go through the inquiry. I mean, this is a basic right that is available to every citizen of the country. It's not an account of her being a Chief Justice or her requesting for a grant of higher rights than as are due. She's asking for basic constitutional rights. The notice of charges that she's standing trial or she's supposed to respond to, the basis for saying that's the case for her to answer. And indeed, this is a very significant point. It's a decision that resulted in her suspension. Are you saying that she cannot know the reason why she was suspended? She cannot know the...
Yeah, twice a honorable ama Kofi Boa ono so edi sembi ababetudwa efa galamse ya ye nitua se galamse no ese yensuru a ene afei so yensase eno nti opani no edi asem no ekokodan court a wo kire mu se de ebe ya court no ebe ma ne homene so na excavators ahodo ene niema emode ko galamse site no obehwe na omatu galamse na se ama afei so Ghana yensuo ene yensase eho atono.
Not Hankwa excavators are is over 60. Nkofo ya chi omupi kwa yegusu ye na ebe hia Ghana fu nyina na nanum nyina se obu nyina ye nyina beboa ye ho na ya bomoden a de hihye part ho se na ebe ya ye mining no ye no wa kwampai so se na ebe ya ense ye nsuo ni asase forestry ni na se eyemra. The Forestry Commission, no, by act of Parliament, because a lot of cases, no, our court, into a exhibit, a court to share, a court to the anywhere, not the Nabe, once I'll be being no. Nature say, you mono, no, what was I can what say, you say, Jumana, into me funny money, and Tina who say, oh, and Yamebua. Yedi court ewie na sa ni nyina mrakwan so ebe ya ban dia ni nyina de akwan ban senior president aka ono ose se ye manfa so ba.
Ghana Statistical Service impedifo abomodin aye nhwehwemu na nhwehwemu a wono eye no wono ye ewo eye aban ndwuma yefo ehom na nhwehwemu no ekọ na wiye no wo kire mu se aposifo pan ene wono edimu atentiriman wo hye ewo hanchichemu na so hanchichemu no edunum ensia 56 na no na wo kire mu se to da bia eye sika efo won sase eni nti wo kọ eye police motor transport and traffic division and afi police criminal investigations department afi wo kọ eye passport office and immigration awodro no a won pa ena wodimu atentiriman
2nd January to 20th of January and a reference period data no January to December 2024 na yehu se nipa dodo na omonya 18 years and above no nipa be 56% and omone public sector organizations edin kita ho and nipa bebre na nkita ho die na nye once omodin kita ho a couple of times. And at our nipa 56% now on public service institutions edin kita ho emu 18.4% say omutua bribe ema sa public officials na omu edi nkita ho no and I'm say institutions nso a ye bisa about 50 different government institutions the edimu akotene pa na MTTD for and other police, CID, general police, and other institutions to say, customs, birth and death registry, and a man for baby, HSA, or bribe every omoho. Now, I don't know, yes, I try say, say, a mamuno say, Kabimamin Kabino, a ye juma. And you say, Nipa 70% of population, nature say, Kabimamin Kabino, and ye juma, which means that you will join our mind, I'll say, to make sure say governance no responsive and inclusive and so and I say is a nipa voting both national election and local election no you say there are some people who have never voted in any elections in a region say they are in that sense near Upper West ne Oti a more higher percentage of persons who have never voted in any national elections. Institutions, thankfully, this time, we didn't one off. Per se, every 6 months, publish it. Into institutions, would have to take proactive measures to see, say, the public feels, say, staff. I don't think any institution in the country staff and take bribes. But then once this comes out from the public, we need to act on it. But I think say a public also has a role because you say 8.5% were asked to give bribe and they refused. Until we want to see more people.
Ebeto John say Ghana man penny na just say private schools wono mu entua school fees no obebomodian na ode ne ho ahyem se ne ebeya omo so omo ebenya akwanya ewo free SHS no emu ne science na ma me benes ede ensem bi etudwa na okire mu ese be ma me no oye Ghana National Education Ghana National Education ena wo chire mu se ebeboa pa na ansa na Ghana mampani ma private schools no akwanya no wonfa nhwehwemu a emu pi na esombo pa enwu akwan mu ansa na we masa akwanya no
de ebeboa o man Ghana ena once abano ana ebaaye no e wo se abofre bia oye Ghana ni no otumenya ho mfaso na emumu no nhihye yanka wosenka yeto yebo ase ne ye ne nkakran ansa na ye free senior high school ne yanto yebo ase anye because na ye nim se eye den a ebema emofro mu ko school no adoso ampanso adoso akone nim bebre eye ni jesem ama emprewanyin se ne mofro mu wie basic school no mo agyae no akosoro eye na emumu no omo wo school ni mu dadampo no bebi omo beda classrooms eswa yenya nyenwie into private sector no beka ho no ye be manage ne senka yesenka bofre bia be benefit from free senior high school no na private school ne beka ho no ye na emom no yenya data ehu se mofra dodo sen e no mo wo private schools kwan ben so ne be hwe so a because according to the private schools no association no almost say enya dia aban ebetua private school teachers neka aban entua teachers neka na emom no obe reimburse private schools no na ometumi etua omu teachers no eka nti edumre na say ebia scan na wose ekọ private schools no anko emre wose okọ na omu ntua omu teachers neka ede gap bi beba adesua ene adechiremu ena ya tenase ahwen so say ebia for the next 3-5 years no ye wosibia ye betumi de ahyem etua ebe sana because adesua ne adechire de edu ba bia untumi ntwen say yenja ne mabi nto ho e wo se ekonanim inti no ye besre ena de ba kon so ana ye hwe ni say ebia community day schools na aban sisi ye no ohyemu kena na omusisi bi ka ho se ne ebe ya emofra ni nyina betumi enya bebi omuboko school a omubetumi esua de na yenya omunso emfaso daachi ewo ye man
ya pem so dia na ye de ni echiremu ewa nurse nkabo mu ko wano abomodin jujumedie shunko ahihye eso eno no nam so amapeni kwanchefo a oda wono anu owura yore Patricia Ampofo ode atu edwa ochire mu se san eye ntiase apam mecho memorandum of understanding nanso no aban no atwi nani niema bi o se oye no onya de awaye eno no enam so manes nkabo mu covid atu edwa se wocho na dwen ade esisa adwumedie do eso na wanya wobetinto so kokko ede akire aban
free edwuma ye no edanso bebre the baby a yehu bia ye edwuma bia no ye wo how bebre enso ni na echiri no ya fatu yehu so say de bia ye be sorry ni akwa edwuma ni akwa ye de se na efata ema ye patients any Ghanaians as a whole we ni na echiri no ye collective agreement kakra wa say aban ehwe ana ye employer ehwe no implement no onhwe na no ma ye hu say ebia mpo ye so ne ye ban na edwuma ye no enso ye employer ni na e higher the pre de ka atwa so me ensa ne say ye nimpa say ye nya abotre kese esan say e free May 2024 ebesi ne no ye nya abotre bebre e hwe ni say ye employer be implement your collective agreement no and so no ye nyehu e ho asem e ma na esi afenso so ye as leaders they be ya the one excuse ye catch your members no oh mo twen ochina ebeba ene eye budget reading ochina minister tukan ochina eye say your members no so ma bre in some aye kan ni na no amatia bre to say yes as leaders no excuses na they be aye sorry e de come your members no yes so no ya bre any excuses employer na mind it ya some aye kan say 2nd and 3rd June 2025 yes re anese for ni amid wife for I work Ghana fan ni na say red band here bo me say almost so mo bi no mo fan ko eduma
red band na ebo ma menensa no ne akọ ensem foforo mu dia openi kwasi Fred Boama eredi oye openi ewo social security and national snit odi nsem bi ababetuja openi ni kiremu a enya de se omo bebo modin aye adwuma ama no etumpon eno ti no de hia ene se omo ebebo modin a enya nkofo bebre ewo mu na afen suso omo adwuma no adanso eno ti Ghana for ene emebunu ni nyina mfanto omo tiri mu se enya de se wo mo eton no ne aton no china
stable and sustainable no and see investment returns no ecostro you are making sure that all companies that we have a stake in and all subsidiaries we've elevated the level of corporate governance send a beya obia ye do akoto board so your investing company oba represent your interest after every 3 months oba my report near cost was our company nim send a beya say bibi enko yi a animanim ya no yebetimi abrase because eno ene ye sika akoshi. Now on the specific issue of your hotels last week mekai yenye ya dwen say you better your hotels a very successful investment earning a lot of revenues over the years minimum can say Senate installing another plant to Kumasi over 100 megawatts. And some installation, we began conversations to add an additional plant to it to create what we call a combined cycle. Because with combined cycle, power generation from the 2 plants. Now, I say 1 + 2 equaling 4 because what carbon and the who's size so are cost. And you may be investment to my investment returns and cost because the investment returns cost about why so pension indexation every year no cost because
Onyonyamfo Eric Eje penin kwanchefo a ono na eda National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program no ano na ono so ede atu eja said enche ye na banpedifo bo modern page medie bia ya to din edwumewura na saa dwumedie na wode aba no ya de eba beboa ama embebu no betumi enya ejuma aye ne san yonti ni mpenifo de esi wono sere so se wobetu bata na wone eyesika krabia hodro ni nyina no edinsa woso na saa nkita nwudie no ekwa ewie ya wo pese wo benya sika puturo ede aboa injuma nkuma kiosk ahodro no bojo no se ni wobetumi ejina wono na so yie na wono etumi atre won krabata no mu na enkrofo ahodro wobetumi afa wono ejuma na woye no so no etumi akọ eni.
For Jumera near 100 million Ghana. Aside that, a lot of contact with some development partners. I think it's almost why expressing interest. But you see, all these things, you know, so you're now more transparency in the year. I want development partners and show interest. So they have interest in whatever we are doing. In Tubesha, they now launch a Jumera on World Bank for normal or British Council, UNDP, everybody will be by. But for now, for two aban boy and 100 million I dey share say you launch ejumera okumase be a portal and the two mono as of the past 2 days I'm a share na nipa over 50,000 and I apply online. Aside that, all YE offices across the country your forms are around ya obetimi apeke enti enu anoma if you 10 times we no muntimi nibino oko YE office now ko peke forma and also so I am even anticipating say na so munwie ni across the country na yemfa data na meka de enya no betimi ahete be 100,000. This clearly shows Ghana mebunu you interested in the policy and ade ba kwan was ye de tu yetim say ye kind entrepreneurship enye mebunu nko but now they can leverage on the Jumera program to also support others to grow their businesses. And see, I think it's nice engagement. Venture capital, Ghana Exim Bank, Omunina financial institutions, Ghana Enterprise Agency, Maslock, they are all coming on board. Maslock, they may sign MOU with us. They want to support Jumera. Venture capital and Sumeti say almost some person with $10 million facility ever support Jumera. Exim Bank, I know they also do something. One say Caneno. Near Thames Capital Baku venture capital near the Amani Pabaco, maybe a 40 million Ghana cedis, $20 million. Near Thames Kao Exim Bank Nipa Baco, 40 million, as if I could be a blue. But the question is Ghana Mebuni and Namhei venture capital and our Exim Bank any eco MOU. Now the 40 million ever support dollars ever support any IP. Look at the type of people a bit near channel resources na come, and that is our core mandate. That is what we believe in. And the current crop of appointees now, President Mahame, and so I think there's some synergy. The coordination is very positive. And to the other sector we are, we need to know about how bema we the acostrono. No, so that is the main reason.
Adwuma de ya na ehu hia se eye onipa bia wutimi eye adwuma ne santi na ohema kobi mami afato ne ho se obetimi afato ne ho se obeboa ma a wo manya 15 years kono obeboa mo se ne be yombenya omonsa no adwuma na o man kone na basabasa amobra bia ense emfata enunti na Kofi Annan ICT Center abomodia afedwuma die e de ato omo ho e de esi omo na so se omo bebomodia ene ma mikubi abomodia atete mo emayoa enunti mami edi dwumadie ne ehhehye so ewo so menya wo kire wo mo se de ye de yensa eye edwuma na eso ebeba emfaso ede ama emma enunti wo kire mu se wo firi ho no ma enye ho nko a ena obekọ empatemu bebrebe se ne betimi aboa emma enunti sisi ano wasanso ekire wo mo se sisi ano eni se wo fa phone na wa osebi wakakogina ho no akansema emfata eno so ebetimi aye ekwan foforo so a se obesua ensa no adwuma ni wi a ehon so eye kwan a obetimi afa so e de aton oniama
Yeah, their training ya dia ebeboa opa Mastercard Foundation ena aso yasene ne di dwumadi eba enti no ye hwe se anye ye kura no ye bema ma entitiye ma dodo be se mpemienu ene ekire sa entitiye ewo mfie kakra edi yanim enti sa wote their training ne nka na wo mpesu aso se ekoso be kwai ekoso ogushegu ena so menya ya ye giren enti na fie oba mfansa ensho dem fem eya akwanya kese a unsu benya entity you can be your own boss unsu usha wo dem o ena nioma kakra obeto a wo de egu na eba abefo ntenta nwoma hu dwadie na eya na ema ne dodo na yom so bia wi asresem ana mpasero nko a na obetimi enya followers e wo TikTok ana Instagram there bi otonwade a eho ba mfaso ana se woye content bia eboa nkrofo abrabo e ma apom din ho asem so e konkan a ni nyina obenya followers we ade a is a one time opportunity a Mastercard Foundation abo their consortium ye chidoma ye di eye dwumadie nti ote yenka na sa wo bebia e den sakraye e bebo abrabo
but your friend Juliana Tete program ya me by abo me pa because answer na me program na minim how like Upama de crampa wo de be call TikTok and I say WhatsApp and I say Facebook but program ya me buy aboa me ama me hu niam bebre first I me buy mpuna me nim computer part ni niam bebre but program ya me buy aboa me ama me hu niam bebre
program ya me buy aboa me pa na me pama de so na me nim kwan ya me fa so a me de be but me buy o ma chere computer know how to use the computer so adwuma ye wo fie nkakra ye nim ye ni nyama ye de be ne kese no o ma kire said ekwan ye be fa so computer ne so ye de be.
I didn't really know much about the computing stuff, but then they were able to teach us on how to connect internet to the computer. They taught us how to on them, and they taught us a lot of things. And me myself, I am unemployed, and then I am planning on opening an online business. Due to their training, I was able to create an account on TikTok, and then I was able to open an account on Instagram as well, and then they are training things and what I've learned, it's really helping me. And then I would say whatever they are teaching us is a good thing. So anybody who wants to have an online business or wants to learn more about the computing stuff should come and join.
Yenjina Kofi Anan ICT in Sensemino Esonafi Yenja Wafon Kato Embracisi.
Global Outreach Asafwa Evangelist Papani Ajamai Edano Aton Sadia Fro say Ganiamum and Mompaye Yawaday and Yawade Bia Esan say Aya Healing and Deliverance Service in Tea Yamenam ya Papa so Esayarewa Ebubum Ponchere Etuanomi Efri Yamemasu Shannon to say you made a chance yes 7 Myself Akonya way so Aton Sadia Fro say Kosia day any Kosia de Bia Yamema Ebom Ediashia First service no a mission and leadership service. A shasia 7. Yenya daji chirechiro, a kwanya ube faswa, ube kanya mia sempane achre afufro. Na your second service nenso a prayer and testimony service. Your bumpire then dimpa the jury ejine trubia a self for no ejina edia maye. Shannon so say over babeka yon near bumpire then dimpa. Ye true kwine a was so Rome Rescue Junction. Open church mubia over to my friend Ahomachu 0249 9993 and now say 0540 378 8282. Apamba Yasunya Meotiasi.
Say, I did not go to me. I'm a Wujumedia Wudiana, Dena Water. The bet me about who they Roman, I didn't her, Mount Crawford about the talk. Nesarionsi and our Apam TV. Got to see your man so a day a master for just on the Nebra. You who they room and from Mount. Science, I say, and our tongue, a dine and a wussy tongue, and a down when you be say yes to cool hospitals, supermarket, now person who do. Apam TV nkwa and I make for a day amount. When you money a cassia, it's what I done Tim. Modern say open when you chemo baby, say Apam TV. Now you mono open airtime at all. Say 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and now 1 hour. Apam TV or what the mouth. Say LPM so now open crawler and a squeeze bar. But modern say what the baby time here your purple a day amount. Into say maybe and a woman. She share truck. I was such a rescue point, a hawk and a butu, and also Frey. I want my true voice so 0599 002 463 924 and Dinsa also Apam TV connecting souls to their great.
grateful say nya ema ye twa ye hosima eba ye to so
ye to ensam no eso dia na ye kotiaso wo e omrahwebedwa efie na ye kopiemu e wo ho a edom kuma no wono anoba ne deni abedi akire ene maame eye Patricia maame no ede nsem bi atu edwanti maame eye Patricia apiejei ne nsem a okanyina ene so friendsem twofo enhiemu na nsem no wo to ede amana abato komisa metre electoral commission na che se EC se nsem no ombra na ombeyi na no ewosa nsem no ehum wo kire mu se afia baba sinko abato no eko na wieye no empaso awodo bebrenu a na enya eye MPs anamra hwebedwa efie efo eni ti won momodin se wo be declare won se ne wo be hu se osimesia no benten na eko ede ama mpaso awesu anampotem ha nanso no kame esablekuma north nkofo mienu a wogina ye no wo hu se wei ana part B na ejina eni nti no wo sere se ye maami eye ekue free ye ana maami erabna oben omu baako enenya ya abato komisambra bonten enfambetu eja se nipa baako edinkodim ewo sa ablekuma north abato mpeso ano eso
situation whereby the embassy is closed without any parliamentary consultation. It is, we are told, it is at the full support of the president. But we know how the processes with which we can execute before such closure. It is the one person who has committed that. So why are we seeing reckless closure of the place? Have we assessed the diplomatically costly exercise which they have undertaken? We are also concerned because everybody is happy that the CD has become very strong. The exchange rate is coming down. But what is its effect on the cost of living, despite the gains that we are experiencing? It is important that certain actions are taken to ensure that the downward trend of the CD to the dollar or the appreciation of the city will have a reflection of the cost of living in our country. Doomsor has returned. Doomsor is back. And the interesting thing is that one may look at it as maybe a political propaganda, but it is interesting to note that even on the social media, we came by footages or videos of our own NDC parliamentarians who were complaining and were concerned about how it is affecting the businesses. We cannot just sweep under the rugs or the carpet. The review of Mahama Care initiative finances, how much is coming in and what are we using? It tells that the MPP candidate has won. All that is required is the security to come around and then the announcement made, and then the representative can begin to represent the people in Parliament. And then our expectations going forward, we believe that Parliament must reassert its oversight role. The minority pledges to lead with vigilance and constitutional fidelity, challenge illegalities, and protect Ghana's democracy. And we also push for real action on repealing punitive taxes and tackling illegal mining.
Yefri mami apieje ensem no so na yede ani atremu awunima enkranpumpuni mantem haya enanima no ewo emebuna wo honom ate wono ho egu abontene so na wonsem a waka nyina ene se meni onyina eni tua se sisi a mebuna wonom aba wo mo edi nubone esse wo mo ho ene wo na mabefo ntentam fidie no so abehu se Yes, ye frɛ bibi unim red. Na will be anom na chese woyen hu hwie nye yi. Na chese ase film ankasa. Da wankasa kra wo hu ana ora ho. Ne senti na Abdullahi atene ho ene ni nkrofo atene ho agu adwa mu. Ekwan mu na omo bodewuro akyere emabunu ni nyina se enubone enye enti wosre se oyo babunu na o fefe na wo ba twon ho efri eye enubone ho eye saa ebese wo dachi eno nti wo se wafa to ne ho so wo free eye nima obekọ La Paz ofri La Paz so ano de nani atwemu ewo alaju ofri alaju awode kọ eye osu ena face so klagon na chese wabobodin afa edwuma ato ne ho so yie pa eno nti se de ebe ya Ghana mabunu no yenso so ye beti enti ena openi ate ne ho egu edwem.
Accra Ghetto emanate from Nima Ghetto to Accra Ghetto because you say the community nu say school children, footballers, obia is not safe anymore because when him say uba or clean one far edromoni, but before you realize what should we Benalin, Ashish, codeine, red, blue, yellow, tramon. Hey, so we need to wake up. Say, yeah, sorry, because campaign way, Nipa Baku want me here. Me, mayor of Nima, met me Akasa, but some need support. Our different places here, because so that's why I invite everybody, the stakeholders, everybody to join me for this campaign. So need to me Kabebre because la kasa kasa. So the last word is say no to drugs.
I'm here today to throw my strength behind my brothers and sisters who are fighting the cause for the betterment of the youth of this community. Of course, our future lies in the hands of the youth. And when we see drugs taking them away and other things they do that will not augur them well to have a bright future, we all have to stand up to this call so that we ensure that we just throw our weight behind the community to ensure the right things are done. It's as simple as that. So let's all say no to drugs. Everybody's responsibility. It is not only the police, it is not only the community, it's everyone who wish to be called a good citizen of this country to just stand up to this task. When we see our children going to ghettos, coming to the house late, it should be the interest of every parent or every guardian to try to seek to know where this child is coming from, the kind of friends they associate with. All these things are very important. If I know your friend, I know who you are. So let us take the task on our shoulders and ensure that we make sure we build a better future for our children.
Drug is something that will discombobulate you and lead you into great melancholism. Drug will excruciate your aggressivity and pontificatiously reiterate your brachadosity. Drug has no respect for footballers, for doctors, for lawyers, for teachers, and for anyone at all. Exactly. Therefore, you need to stay away from drugs. I have been able to make it without drugs, and you can make it without drugs, because if you continue to enjoy or to involve yourself in drug, in the end you will be totally discombobulated and all your thematism will be taken away by melancholism.
Today papers is very clear. Fully support to Nima and all Zongo's free drug community. We have to inspire others to take positive choices and to help them. Today the drug addicted, maybe it might be me, it might be you, it might be one of these bikers who joined this event. So we have to stand with them. This is the first event and the first step for a lot of steps in the future. We also need your support. We're also blessed to have the mayor here to start this activity.
Youth, please stay away from drugs. We need your life for you to witness our greatness.
Mashabajani Edema Boko Central, no Sanso Eye Edom Kesiano Anobani Deni Eni Ora Mahama Ayareka. Openino akasa ede afa Ghana Mampany's Excellency Ora John Dramani Mahama senior weyi Chief Justice Mami Gertrude Araba Esa Basaki Tokonu etu ekunya se empren onjina China infishemu mapa entumi engu ase na se wowie na se akonya wo se oba ondifo na wo se oba wo de akonya ne be mano na mbom so wo hu se odifo na wo se wo chine tu ekunwa obeyi nedi no Openino ache na adwen so hu boni bia ewo hu.
Specifically say that this part of the process is not provided for in the Constitution. I have not seen anyone. I have listened to all the discussions. Not one single, indication that this step in the process. People are throwing innuendos. People are speculating. Oh, why is it that these lawyers who are known to be lawyers who have ever represented XYZ are the ones who are also representing the people that somebody decides to choose as lawyers? It's not my business. Are you getting the situation? My business is whether or not the process is respected. Are you getting the situation? Now, somebody says, I want the hearing to be held in public. I want a transparent process. Did the Constitution say a transparent process? Did the Constitution say a process in camera? If the Constitution said a process in camera, when you are being vetted in this parliament and you are being appointed as the Chief Justice, why didn't you say that I am accepting the job subject to me not accepting the procedure for removing me? If you had told us at that time, would we have appointed you as Chief Justice? It comes as a package. The Constitution creates the office of Chief Justice, and the same Constitution creates the procedure by which the Chief Justice should be removed. If you accept the office, you must accept the procedure by which you are going to be removed. It's a package. You cannot accept to enjoy the perks of the office of Chief Justice, and then the procedure by which you will be removed, you say that you not accept that one. Where were you when you were being appointed Chief Justice? So sometimes I don't even understand where people are coming from. So let's be clear when we are communicating to the public. The president has not engaged in one single wrongdoing in this whole process. The petitions were not sent. Some of the petitions didn't even go now. Some of the petitions were sent by the petitioners even when the previous president was there, and we are aware. So let's not misrepresent things to the public.
Yakwa ensawom aduadwiri dia ntokwa brantam bi esi ho ama obi ahwere ne nkwa aye arehosempa ne senti na Honorable Frank Anodompre edi nsembi akwakoto dwa ewo Parliament House mechere mashibejefie ne sema waka nyina ne se empanifo emma omu homene so pa ewo ho esanse mentemi hosi a eda ensawom aduadwiri zongo na afei so eye ensawom aduadwiri entem ene ensawom aduadwiri zongo mentemi hosi amane homune so pa amasebi obi ahwere ne nkwa enti mpanifo emamodiana na omofa omani nkyere honom sade ebe ya mentemi ho ase no eto ebetwa
25 in some Adwaje municipality was hit with a tragic and regrettable incident which resulted in the death of one resident of the Adwaje township and left others injured. Several properties were vandalized indiscriminately, and some of those scenes were recorded by terrified onlookers. Speaker, it is worth noting here that these conflicts stem mainly from chieftaincy disputes that are ongoing in the area. It is indeed true that Adwaje township has been unfortunately occasioned with chieftaincy disputes in the past. Though not all the events turn out as open conflicts, various notable activities as far back 2007 contribute to the growing differences between the groups. Mr. Speaker, permit me to acknowledge the efforts of the Eastern South Regional Police Command, DCOP Ohini Bwedi, and the Police Divisional Command Superintendent Stephen Apia for their swift responses to the incident. The collaboration between their uniformed officers and residents were critical in salvaging the chaos to a great extent. Speaker, saw heavy deployment of police officers leading to the arrest of many suspects involved in this incident that took place last week. Again, Mr. Speaker, with the swift intervention of the Minister for Interior, General Mohammed Mubarak Muntaka, who doubles as the head of national security, coordinated strategies were employed to deal with the violence in a timely manner. The people of Nsroma are indeed grateful.
And I would hope that, Mr. Speaker, in addressing the issues that we're seeing around chieftaincy, we're not making exceptions in how the law is applied, because that is a trend that we're seeing all across this country. Too many people are in possession of too many illegal arms and are using them in the name of chieftaincy disputes, which is also causing a lot of instability. And this happens all the way from Boku right down to Nsawam and to other parts of Greater Accra and the rest of the country. Mr. Speaker, indeed, we have seen the police acting as they ought to, but I think that we also need to perhaps have a broader conversation on the issue of how chieftaincy disputes are being addressed in the country.
Eno no eso dia na fe de ni echemu e wosofo a ono ehye efisem dwumedie eso meche interior minister oni Owura Mohammed Muntaka Mubarak opani no edensem atu eja na ochiremu se ye na impem bebre no ye ko ekobodom pem na ye kasa ede afasumgie ehu a titru ani ebibiri man no emu ye mbomodin se bema emba akwanya.
The task before us is to amplify women's voice in the space of peace building, governance, and democratic transitions. Women are not just victims of conflict. They are peace builders, mediators, community leaders, and agents of change. Across West Africa, women have mobilized for disarmament and ceasefires, as seen in Liberia, as mentioned earlier, in Sierra Leone, and led grassroots peace dialogue and community healing processes, pushed for gender-inclusive legislation and early warning system, and advocated for accountability and transitional justice. Despite this contribution, women remain underrepresented in formal peace negotiation, security institutions, and political decision-making. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Ghana has taken progressive steps to promote women's leadership in peace and democratic governance by appointing Ghana's first female vice president in 2025, 3 female chief justices, and 2 female electoral commission chairs over the past 2 decades. In 2024, Ghana also passed the Affirmative Action, Gender Equality Act in 2024, mandating a minimum 40% female representation in public appointments. Cabinet has also ordered the validation of a new draft national agenda policy to replace the one prepared in 2015 to better align with contemporary peace and security dynamics.
Ye kwa kasoa dia na ebeto dwa se ye tutu wona odi edwa ewo pavement eso na ukọ la pasa ye tu nipa bienu miense bi era odi wani chiremu enso ewo enkran bebi omudi dwa no so a ero nso so ye tutu nipa bebre na se de ebe ya ekwan ebeda ho amaka ababesen na enkoba ne se atoyire ntwem bi esia enipa bebre ehu ebeka enti na mpanifo edi se adwuma no na yebekọ kasoa dia operation yi bi ekoso ewo ho ema ye tutu nipa bebre na ne sa yonti na eye MCE a owo ho owura set sapon abomodin akwakọ bie market ewo ho kama edi ama adwadifo ne se dia obeya onu nso ebetimi edi aboa wo mo no se omo be free kwan no ho na omo bomodin edi omani atwemu ewo market be bia wabomodin akwakọ bie market no ewo Iron City enunti osra se adwadifo no omo mfa akomapa emfree kwan no ho na omo emesen enkonko didwa no ewo market kro na wabi ano
exercise na yedi hu komo around the central business district and where munye anope na yeah the congestion nipa kakra bi efa ohun so mo yo ye che no mo ni baby a mo kwa akohedwa wo medinka ka say ya behwe ha satellite market ba kwa Iron City ha na ye share planning ase say be planning here before I be moving conformable until traffic light issue ne ba ti anope ye ba ya na ye behwe mo tutumo camera na there are empty shelves here nice market I wo ha nipa be miensa na omo to ade wo mo ndru 5 omo ha meanwhile no edwadefo I was saying komo ha no omo free ha akọ we central businesses shedwa ewo kwan so, and so this particular visit here is to make sure say ye be yi nyina ba onim pavement na so na edwadefo wo no enye amanyosem ene enye nyina de say ye be yi free, but gutters na wo pavement gutters nyina eseli last week in so eto nyina nso ne nya baby fa into be hwa nkofo anso fa ma menem nyina akonnam nso ma any MP. That is the main issue a ewo ho. I was say you move free na ye nya kwan together with NADMO any other official task force na ye timi aye major distilling ewo hono because that is simi na esisi sa omo eba be kan ye ho so on be kan ye ho a ebe ma edwa na bie sansa me hwe se edwa kama ya ma yen a enipa ntimu a wo nyina tete kwan ho no se ade wo ba be kan ye ho a ye ni beje pa ebe ma dwadie ne nso akoso market ni die se na odi kakan no fitiase ne na ha shipa but edubremi no na ekofo timiami bi se bi mu se adenti na omo pese o mehedwa omo se omo ton ade amafom ba but omo prefer so ba ko gina ekwan no mu ewo ewe kaso ho no mo gina wa eden a ombeto and since that time obi a sorry a na akokodi bia ho moreover so omo so mo ton ade wa so ya na man so ne bo eden temo bibi kakra bi pe no see 10 cedi 20 cedi don't prefer some call kaso no mama o manya ne cheap tini nyina so kan
ya to ansam no so ede amamodia na eye dwumedie sunko akoso ya paw eye enkofo mature board of directors ede Ghana Enterprises Agency na penin kwanchefo okopa eye sofo ono na ehwekua mfidijuma na afekua ye ensem esomami Elizabeth Ofosu Ajare ekasai sei.
That is responsible for micro, small, and medium-scale enterprises is a very serious one because it employs a large range of people, especially women and youth. And so I will hope that when you start work, you bring your expertise to bear, helping them to upskill, helping them with standardization, helping them with access to market, especially the African markets. I'm sure that you help them to take advantage of the African Continental Free Trade Area. I know what you do already in your private lives, and I'm sure that at the end of 1 year, if I'm doing an assessment of GA, I'll be proud of my board members because they would have brought expertise to bear.
Ghana Health Service ede kokobo ako ama Ghana fo nyina ese monkeypox yade aba enuntino wasrese obia enhwe ne ho yie na yade wanya bi
dashboard for Ghana Health Service at least ya confirming 19 cases of mpox so na Ashanti region suspected 10 cases now suspected testing na negative na mpox kra no yare bay inka enkanetete pa ne de eyenkemoa yare your friend zoonosis moa yare but they say no ebitimi nipa so anya binti broni kan zoonosis ye ne moa no edi akotene a yetimi nya bi especially squirrels, snakes, rodents, monkeys na omo pa na yare no na eti omumu na nipa ba akoso nya yare na obenya bia a very close physical contact na emrepi no so lesions ni bi ewo ne ho a pus ni bi wo ne ho na ensuo free mu na bi egu ho a utiminya impossible na osa ben onipa ko ni yipa na bia ma kasa ne ye kasa yi no broni be kasa respiratory droplets no so utimi enya bi ana onipa ko na wanya bi no ne ho enoma broni be kasa ne learnings ne formines enoma wa use bibri na ebi atoso no so so wan hwe yi na onsa eka na sa o de onsa ko wanum ana se baabi a chawo baabi na bi komu a obetimi anya impossible
Yenjina openino ensem eso na fe kasia mpenifo eboaboa no edema yense mu so se yembekin kan no yemfa ni nyina ensi ewo ha emfa emamu yade na se no bema Apam Global Church asafodom sadani den na mpenifo eso yemu ma yemu yeduru na yetumekin kan kasia no ede emamu esanse epenifo obebi omu ebuse ansa na homa be hunu suru no na enamdua eso eninte nam wonsa yeso ena ama yetumekin kan kasia no ende oba so amigidi se ye nshira oboade eya adom akwesi de enima ebe se wamba na ode kyenya eya de nkenya nsum ebekoso first service and second service. First service ni first 7 ede akakopim 9 second service ni first 9:30 ede akakopim 11:30 eni ti bebi bia wo bia ni diem ni obo kwanso na wo de ahye eye wo dada setena no emu se woni asafo a wo don a wo betumi edon ntuma ba beboye ntuma ano se ni nyina no oboade no eba yenye yiraba saso na yawade bia no mpa bokese ekoso ewo fidie mu ha da yetena se ye ka onimo bia obre onimo bia otempem ko na dwumasem enkoye na matete apansamo bomodi so becha nipa ni tia aba bepie mu ewo fidima se ne beboa ama bribia no etumi akonkan na mom opo asofo na ono obebom paye wa befo kwan so se wo frɛ wo bibi na kyere wadwen opese hu bribi etine ma se ewo nyamesum a mpenimfo hu me amede ba betu eja obetumi afrɛ na wadwen kyekye mu no 0249669993 0249669993 and 0540378282 0540378282 na ni pedifo atuche enkomo yenda eye production team ni na no ase se wo chinchimi fidie ni fruma edeman ma wo so jebre ehye yen ewo fiefie emu akenkanfo no eye me na ama Fordjour mene
ke chire nua na ya sika
ya ma umu ene hye adehye